Hey guys, today I'm going to be continuing just my findings on the Corona, California earthquake. This is part 4, and if you haven't seen the other parts yet, I would recommend doing that before you watch this one. But pretty much what happened was on May 1st, during my live stream, I was doing a live stream with my friend AJ, Ball Don't Lie. Ball Don't Lie, that's his Instagram handle, and he was reviewing one of his books, and there was an earthquake that hit during the live stream, and it was right when he was talking about the sea Rona, and it was specifically when he was saying the sentence about how Clade X was a pandemic exercise that was conducted 666 days before C Rona was declared a pandemic. And yeah, you can watch the video, I will link it. But right when he's saying the word C Rona, like this right here, that is when the earthquake hit, and I pointed it out in the video, and there ended up all the articles, you can see it was near Corona, California. You can see it. I already did a decode on it before I had the huge revelation given to me by Zenith of the Alpha, and that was well, before I get into that, so this earthquake is completely tied to Kobe Bryant, and it was a 4.1 earthquake. It was in Corona, and he was buried in Corona Del Mar. He died at age 41. Like, I was 4.1, and he left the game, or his last game ever. He left the court with 4.1 seconds left in the game, and his last shot ever was over number 41, so it was just so tied to him. And I broke it down already, and then Zenith told me on May 5th, which was Cinco de Mayo, which that's very known for this here, Corona beer. And he informed me that right when I mentioned the earthquake, it was the timestamp on the video is 1 hour 54 minutes exactly, and you can look, and it's true. And what makes that crazy is that Corona, California equals 154 in ordinal, and he's right. It's true. It's crazy. Please watch my other videos, like I said, if you haven't, before you watch this one. But now we're gonna talk about this here, this connection with the lime, Corona and lime. And this was revealed to me by the channel Uncanny Deduction. So he found out that my name, it equals well, I mean, let's just talk about this first. So there's an obvious connection with Corona and lime. Anywhere you go, if you order a Corona, you're gonna get a lime with it, and they go hand in hand. They're pretty good together, But yeah, he found that my name matches the word lime in like 20 ciphers, and then Sean of the Sod matches the earthquake in all these ciphers too. Sean of the Sod, what that is in my YouTube bio, I put a pronunciation Sean of the Sod just because my name is a little confusing. But yeah, undoubtedly, this is from Uncanny Deduction, both of these findings, and it's just insane that the Corona earthquake hit right into my live stream 1 hour 54 minutes into the stream, and Corona, California equals 154, and my name matches lime in all of these. So it's like unbelievable. And then like how Zenith, he revealed to me that whole thing on Cinco de Mayo with Corona beer. Like, but the reason why I guess what makes it more interesting is that Uncanny Deduction, he talks about lime a lot in the context of limestone. I'll get to it in a little bit, but he talks about it in the context of limestone, you know, like sedimentary. And I'll get to it when I get to it. But yeah, his whole channel has been based on that before the earthquake happened, and then he made the connection was just spot on, you know. So it just really confirmed that whatever he's been looking into in terms of lime, he's pretty on point with other events as well. So this is going to be the most straightforward part of the video. Corona and lime, it equals 403, and the 403rd prime is 2767. Convert that into the date 2767. Going from that date to my birth is 24 years and 8 months. Just perfect. Like his numbers, 24 and 8, just absolutely perfect. And Corona translates to crown. Crown equals 248. Just unbelievable. But the 403, that really ties into what I really started my channel. I guess like the focus of it from the beginning, which this comes from the channel 7711. I learned this from him, and I'm still so curious to know how he figured this out, but I know he's on point because I've seen more than enough examples of things being encoded around this. So what this is, there's 3 main verses of Revelation, and it's 6:12, 8:11, and 9:11, and they match the dimensions of the Great Pyramid of Giza, the base, because 6:12 plus 8:11 plus 9:11, and I'm going to show you what the 3 verses are after this. It equals 2,334, 2334, and the length of each side of the base of the pyramid is 230.34 meters. 2334. So this formula has Revelation 8:11 at the core, the center of it, and it's in Revelation 8:11 talks about the falling Wormwood star. So it's also interesting that Wormwood equals 126 and Corona, California earthquake equals 126. Kobe died on 126, and Cinco de Mayo this year, when this all was revealed to me, was on the 126th day of the year this year. So let's look at the 3 verses. We'll worry about the 33:13 later, but yeah, 6:12 is about the great earthquake. Revelation 8:11 is connected to nuclear because the name of the star is called Wormwood, and this connects to the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. It was in 1986, and Chernobyl is the Ukrainian word for wormwood, which I learned from 7.1. So 8:11 is connected to nuclear, and then 9/11 it has it really resembles the events of 9/11 because they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, in the Greek tongue Apollyon. So the angel of the bottomless pit, like when you think about how like if this was like the tower, and then it just, you know, you guys remember how it fell and it was like so that that resembled the bottomless pit, falling into the bottomless pit. So where the 403 comes from, when you look at the three verses, 612, 811, and 911, 612 is the 108th verse, 811 is 141st, or the 108th verse of Revelation, and 811 is the 141st verse of Revelation, 911 is the 154th verse of Revelation. So when you add 108 plus 141 plus 154, it equals 403. So Corona and lime equals 403. And I've made videos about the 403 already, in the context of like this whole thing. So it's just so perfect that it lined up, this, you know, this whole event lined up with my channel, and it's very connected to the Bible. And yeah, and so this is what I was talking about a few minutes ago, how uncanny deduction, he ties in lime and limestone with God breathing or forming man from dust, from the ground. Like how limestone is sedimentary rock, and breathing life into it, like the sun creating life from the ground. So this is where this is I guess a little taste of what uncanny deduction talks about in terms of lime, and how he connects different events to lime and limestone. But if you want to know more about it, check out his channel. So this part here, going back to the 403, it's going to be really tied to Kobe. So like I said, the 403rd prime is 2767, and we looked at that date already, but this time we're going to look at it from the year 1767, 1767, because, you know, from Kobe, I've shown this before, but from Kobe's birth to his death, he was 15,131 days, and that is a 1767th prime number. So we're going to be using, it's going to be this date, 2767, of the year 1767. So it's going to be super coded. And I'm going to show how the 1767 connects to the Bible. I had shown this before, like before the eclipse. So from 9/11 to the eclipse, the midway point, exact midway point, is split between in the middle at 589 weeks, and 589 connects to Revelation 8:11, because the prime factorization of 589 is 19 times 31, and that's the 8th and 11th prime numbers. So that's if you split it in the middle. But if you go 585 weeks after 9/11, that left 593 weeks until the eclipse. So the study of earthquakes began in 585 BC. I've talked a lot about that. And then the 593, Revelation 6:12, when you copy paste the whole verse into the Gematrinator, the reverse reduction value is 593. So these three core numbers, 589, 585, 593, when you add them all up, it equals 1767. So that's why it's very interesting that he was the 1767th prime amount of days when he died, and that is in the context of this time frame here from 9/11 to the eclipse. The eclipse from last month. So again, the 403rd prime is 2767, and then convert that into the date 2767. But looking at the year 1767, because of what we just looked at. So it's going to be 1767, but essentially it's going to be this 2767. Now this is going to involve me. When you go from that date 2767 to my birth, it's 224 years, 243 days. So that's interesting because corona equals 224, and I don't know if I've seen anyone point this out yet, but this is the when you write out the date that they died, January 26, 2020, that equals 224 as well. And Gianna and Kobe, their numbers were 222 and 24, 224, and their memorial was on 224, February 24th, the 55th day of the year, and earthquake equals 55. So very, very there's a lot there, you know. And then the 243, Kobe Bean Bryant equals 243, and looking at the 403, like Corona and Lime, 403 a.m. is the 243rd minute of the day. So it's just crazy that like this really coded date, because again 2767, the 403rd prime is 2767, but of the year 1767, like how Kobe was the prime amount of 1767 prime amount of days when he died. So 2767 to my birth, 224 years and 243 days. So that is like mind-boggling. But just to keep pushing forward, 224 plus 243 equals 467, and this is a really interesting number. But we'll dissect it after this. But I mean, what are the sheer odds that from their memorial on 2/24/2020 to the Corona earthquake, it was 4 years and 67 days. Like this, you know, like that's why it just seems it was perfect that it like landed on like it happened how it did, you know, to match up with my stream. It matched up with my stream, you know, because this is from my birth. This is my birth. It could have been anybody else, but like 224 plus 243, and these two numbers are heavily connected to Kobe. That equals 467, and then it was 4 years and 67 days from that 2/24 memorial to the Corona earthquake. I have to keep going because I don't know how like what to even say about all this. But so this is 467 is a 91st prime number, and Corona, so this is where the earthquake was. Okay, so remember, it's different. Like Kobe was buried in Corona Del Mar, but this is a different Corona. This is Riverside County, where the earthquake, the articles say the earthquake was near, but they're connected through the Corona. But as you can see here, the freeway, the 91 freeway passes through Corona. So how perfect is that? The 91st prime is 467. And I mentioned this in my last video, but the 91 is really connected to Gianna and Kobe as well, because as you can see, 91 is a 6 square pyramidal, and the 13th triangular. And the 6th prime number is 13, and the 13th prime number is 41. And Gianna and Kobe were ages 13 and 41 when they died. And 13 times 41 is a prime factorization of 533. And when the earthquake happened, I was at 533 subscribers. So another, just, I don't know, man. I don't know. Hopefully you guys can see how crazy that is. It's just, and I showed this, I actually showed this in Cody's live stream, how from this date, March 13th, 2020, so this was when Corona virus was declared a national emergency. I think what I said in my last video was incorrect, or but this is, so March 13th, 2020 is when Mr. T declared Corona virus a national emergency. So that's what the significance of this date is. And from that date to the earthquake, it was 1510 days. And that's really interesting because the 1510th prime number is 12,641. And that's interesting because Kobe died on 1/26 at age 41. 1/26/41. So unbelievable. And then so this date right here, my birth, 2/15/10, just like that. That's when I turned 6,666 days. So how is it that all this is perfectly lining up, that it would line up with my YouTube channel? Like, I don't know, dude. And this is pretty crazy too. So as you can see, when you go from that date, 1/5/10, January 5th, 2010, to the day before the earthquake. And the reason why that's important is because right here, on my Instagram, I shared a promo for the live stream that me and AJ were gonna do, that was eventually gonna be lining up perfectly with the Corona earthquake. And you can see that the time that we had planned for this was 11:30 a.m. My time, Pacific time, 11:30 a.m. And I actually had to, so what makes this really crazy is that I had a job interview before and it went over time, so I had to start it late. I had to start the live stream like 20 minutes late, and it still lined up perfectly. But that's why I believe the day before was significant, because well, for one, the day before, so on April 29th was the announcement of the death of Kobe Naganu. And that was so, that whole ritual was so tied to Kobe, it's insane. But it was like that date, and then the next day was this, I posted this on my Instagram, to promote the live stream for the next day, and then all of that would line up. And 11, so what's really interesting is that from 1/5/10, January 5th, 2010, to the Corona earthquake, or the day before, like I said, everything I was just saying, it was exactly 747 weeks, and the time of 7:47 a.m. is 467 minutes into the day. Just like all that stuff I just showed you with the 467, the 467 and 91st prime number, 91 freeway goes right through Corona. And then all that stuff, like all this stuff, like from, I don't even want to just rewind it, please, because it's just like, it's so much to go over, but it was so coded, like that this to my birth would get you the fourth. It's so coded, and like it's so like it's really unbelievable that this would line up on like with all this stuff, like all these connections like that I didn't even know about before. It shows that like this was all meant to be. It was all meant to be. It had to happen exactly how it did, when it did, you know, during my stream. Like it's just weird, and I don't like what makes this the 11:30 so freaking crazy is that Kobe Bryant equals 11:30. I had no idea that was all gonna happen the next day, and not only that, but 11:30 is 690 minutes into the day, and Kobe Bryant also equals 690 in Latin. Like, I don't know. Now look at this. Okay, so see this whole thing right here? So I wrote it all out. Going live tomorrow on my YouTube channel with Ball Don't Lie to review his book Fool's Gold, which is the prequel to his newest books, The Hand and Matt on the Moon. 11:30 a.m. Pacific Time, 1:30 p.m. Central, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It equals 824 in reverse reduction. How the heck? How in the world? 820, like, how is this happening, dude? Okay, so this is 2767 again, the 403rd prime. 2767 Corona and Lime, remember, equals 403, but don't forget that this is just from 1967. From this 2767 to one that same date we looked at, January 5th 2010, that equals 2239 weeks, and 2239 is the 333rd prime number. And that's interesting because Corona and Lime also equals 333 in Latin. You know, like, it's wild. Just to remind you, like, the 1510, the 1510th prime number is 12,641, and Kobe died on 126 at age 41. So it's like perfect weeks, So just to show you something interesting about that 333 and Wormwood, how we were talking about Wormwood earlier, and I learned this from 7-1 as well. But the 333 is super connected to Wormwood because, I mean, I showed you guys the 126s already. But when you look at each of the letters of Wormwood in ordinal, when you take the reverse of each of the letters, so 23 would be 32, 15, 51, and so forth. You add up the reverse of each of the letters, it equals 333. You see that? So this is the reverse of that, 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 and then you just take the 4 because it's just a single digit. It equals 333, which makes this even more unbelievable. So now I'm gonna show you guys how, or I'm gonna bring in the connections with all of this and Wormwood and the Golden Gate, because that's another thing that Uncanny Deduction, he mentioned when he was making this whole connection with me and Lime, how it ties into my findings with the Golden Gate. But I've done some videos like last month about the Golden Gate and Kobe Bryant, and there's a lighthouse underneath the Golden Gate called the Limestone Lighthouse. I have to double check what the actual name is, but yeah. So right now we're just gonna talk about Wormwood and the Golden Gate. So this is the ordinal value of Revelation 8:11, and it equals 1377 in ordinal. 1377. Keep this in mind. So the 1377th minute of the day is 22:57. I don't know why it says AM. It should say PM, but yeah. 22:57 is the 1377th minute of the day, and again, Revelation 8:11 equals 1377 in ordinal. So just keep that in mind for now. So where the Golden Gate comes in, so just review some of this stuff right here. The Golden Gate, or the celestial Golden Gate in the sky. It's at the 267th degree of the ecliptic, so 267, and my first and last name equals 267. Kobe Bean Bryant also equals 267, and he was born in Philadelphia with the 267 area code. So this connects to Corona in this way, because Corona, I mean, all the 224s that we looked at earlier, but especially with the earthquake being in Corona equals 224, and the second prime is 3, and the 24th prime is 89, like 224, and 3 times 89 is the prime factorization of 267. So that's the Golden Gate, the 267, 224. And now keep in mind that the sun, every year it passes through the Golden Gate on December 18th, 1218. So now we're going to go from here, the 1218, and then get back to that Revelation 8:11 1377 thing. And it's something I've showed before, and I've learned this from 7711 as well, that we saw that the 1377th minute of the day is 22:57 p.m. So the time 2257, the prime factorization is 37 times 61, and that's the 12th and 18th prime numbers. 37 is the 12th prime number, and 61 is the 18th prime number. And 3761, that's the Hebrew year of creation, 3761 BC. So this is all really connected to Israel, and I'll show how even more after this. But yeah, let me show you what I mean about the Hebrew year of creation right now being at 3761 BC. So yeah, as you can see here, right here, this day in Jewish history, 3761 BC, the world is created according to the Hebrew calendar. October 7, 3761 BC, that is the accepted date of Hebrew creation right now. So again, showing how the 3761 connects to Wormwood. The 37 is the 12th prime number, 61 is the 18th prime number. 37 times 61 is a prime factorization of 2257, and 22:57 p.m. is the 1377th minute of the day. In Revelation 8:11, the ordinal value of the whole verse is 1377. And what's interesting, what makes that 333 just more impactful or more coded, I guess, is when you go from the time of 1218 to 2257, it's 22 hours and 39 minutes. And again, 2239 is the 333rd prime number. And Corona in Lime equals 333. So just to remind you, where was it? Oh yeah. Yeah, so again, going from the 403rd prime to 767, from 2767 to January 5th, 2010, 1510, the 1510th prime number is 12,641, like how Kobe died on 126 at age 41, is 2,239 weeks, the 333rd prime. And Corona in Lime equals 333. This is super coded, guys. It's like ridiculously coded. I can't even believe I'm finding this. Okay, so this is very, very interesting. So that 3761, that I've shown this before in back when Israel was attacked by Hamas, because it connects to that and it connects to the Bible, Revelation, because in the Lexham Hebrew Bible, there's 9,851 words in Revelation, total words. And when you convert that into this date, 9851, to when Israel was attacked by Hamas, it's exactly 3761 weeks. Exactly. And you know what makes that interesting in terms of this earthquake, from October, from that date when Israel was attacked by Hamas to the Corona earthquake, it was a span of 208 days. And the reason why that is interesting is because so Uncanny Deduction, he made a response to my last video, and he was not he was displeased because I did not talk about Lyme in that one, as I guess as much as he was expecting, but it was because I was preparing to put it in another video. So I tried to tell him that before he posted this. I mean, I did tell him in the comments, but he still chose to upload this. But it just lines up perfectly with everything, because the title of his video is totally unacceptable. It equals 208 and 107, just like how the earthquake was 208 days before 10/7, which was also my birthday, October 7, 10/7, and earthquake equals 10/7. So from 10/7, earthquake equals 10/7, 10/7 to the earthquake is 208 days. Totally unacceptable equals 208 and 107. So yeah. And this is what he has in the description. I don't tag Sean to this video because nothing needs to be discussed. Everything is clear. That sentence equal, or those two sentences, they equal 3,330 in satanic. And I actually made a video about this back in March, the 3,330. But the 3,330th prime number is 30,871. And Revelation 10:9, is the 30,871st verse of the whole Bible. So what makes that interesting is because Revelation 10:9, the verse that we just looked at, it equals 2257. Just like how 2257, the prime factorization is 37 times 61, the 12th and 18th primes, and 2257 is 1377 minutes into the day. How perfect is all that? You know, like it's more than just, I know it's more than just me. Like it's like, I know like Cody's had some crazy synchronicities, and you know, like this whole thing here too, you know, like because it was like just definitely, like, I felt, in my opinion, I don't agree with the way that he responded to I mean, because he claims that I just ignored the Lyme aspect, but I shared it on my community. I shared both of his videos on my community, and I was like, I just have so much to talk about, and like, you know, unfortunately, I'm just warning you now, I'm not going to be talking about Lyme in every video, even though this was a big part of a big connection to the overall picture. But there is a lot of this whole thing is just so huge that it's there's a lot more details about it. So yeah, I'm just warning you now that I'm not going to be talking about Lyme in every video, and I just hope that's okay. But yeah, so just look at that again. Like, the sentence equals 3,330 in Satanic. The 3,330th prime is 30,871. The 30,871st verse of the whole Bible is Revelation 10:9, which equals 2257. And 2257, the prime factorization is 37 times 61, again the 12th and 18th prime numbers, and that the golden gate passes through, or the sun passes through the golden gate on 12/18 every year, and that connects to Wormwood as well, because 2257 on the clock is 1,377 minutes into the day. And when you go from my birth, I've shown this before, but if you go from my birth to 2257 going forward, it's 23,861 days, and the prime factorization is 107 times 223, just like the day that Israel was attacked by Hamas, and the day that it was my birthday, 208 days before the earthquake, and totally unacceptable equals 208 and 107, and it was 208 days after October 7. Earthquake equals 107. So yeah, just how perfect. Also, this same verse right here, it also equals 747 in keypad. This is the same verse, Revelation 10:9, the 30,871st verse of the whole Bible, and 30,871 is the 3,330th prime number, and his description in his video equals 3,330 in Satanic. So 747, I showed you guys that earlier. 7:47 a.m. is 467 minutes into the day. Like all the 467 that I showed earlier with me, and that number that comes from Corona and Lime, and then the year that represents the prime amount of days that Kobe, from his birth to his death. And then remember 467, sorry, I'll just go back. But yeah, the 467 is the 91st prime number. So, and then again 91, 6 square pyramidal, 13 triangular. The 6th prime number is 13. 13th prime number is 41. Gianna and Kobe were ages 13 and 41 when they died. The 91 freeway goes right through Corona, so just insane how that lines up so perfectly with just his response and what he wrote in his description and all that. And looking at the 2257 even more, showing how connected it is. Or the 3761, sorry, from 3761, converting that to this date, 3761 to Kobe's birth, is 911 weeks and 1 day, just like the date of 9/11, 9/11/01, 9/11/01, 9/11/01. And all right, so now looking at from 3761 to my birth, but this is in the year 1860, the 1800s. So 3761 to my birth is 1567 months exactly, and that is the 247th prime number. Great earthquake equals 247, and 1567 base 8 converts to 887 in base 10. 887 is the 154th prime number. And again, the earthquake happened at 1 hour 54 minutes exactly into the live stream. Yeah, it's crazy. It's totally crazy. In the same span, this is the same span we just looked at, is 130 years and 7 months, 1307, and the 1307th prime number is 10/7/23, just like 10/7/23, just like the day that Hamas was attacked by, or Israel was attacked by Hamas, the day that was 208 days before the earthquake, the Corona earthquake. 208, remember, totally unacceptable, equals 208 and 107. My birthday is 10/7, and I showed him my last stream how my handle like is ridiculously connected to 107, and then so yeah, like 208 days after 10/7 was the Corona earthquake, and then earthquake equals 10/7, totally unacceptable, equals 208 and 107. Just unbelievable. And so when you go from the date that Kobe was buried on February 7th to the same date we just looked at, 10/7/23, that was 1338 days, 1338 days. And he's buried in Corona del Mar. Corona del Mar translates to crown of the sea. crown of the sea equals 1338. So this is a very huge part of the puzzle. This my 32nd birthday, and like, if it wasn't for that response from uncanny deduction, like, I wouldn't have even been able to make these connections. So it was like definitely meant to be, totally meant to be. And we're still looking at that October 7 date, 208 days before the Corona earthquake. So Kobe's death to October 7, 23 is 193 weeks exactly, and 1,351 days. And the 193rd prime number is 1171, just like Corona, California earthquake equals 1171, and Corona, California earthquake equals 1351. So just perfect, absolutely perfect. And I showed the connection that I've had with Psalms 1171. This is the verse that starts the very middle chapter of the whole Bible. The 595th chapter of the Bible starts with Psalms 1171. That verse equals 2276 in Latin. And you convert that into this date, 2276, to the Corona earthquake. It's exactly 579 months exactly. And Corona and Lime equals 579 in Satanic. Now, looking at the 2767 again, the 403rd prime, 2767. Going forward from my birth, going forward, 2767 is 3,931 weeks exactly, and the 3,931st prime number is 3761. Just like, again, the 1,377th minute of the day is 22:57 p.m. The prime factorization of 2257 is 37 times 61. It's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. Like, and I think this is the last slide. So going from 3761 of the 1700s, 3761 to my birth is exactly 2767 months exactly. And again, that's the 403rd prime number. Corona and Lime equals 403. In that same span, it equals 230 years, 30 weeks, and 4 days, 2, 3, 3, 4. Just like sorry, I got cut off again, but again, so the same span as this, it equates to 230 years, 30 weeks, and 4 days, 2, 3, 3, 4. Just like how 612 plus 811 plus 911 equals 2, 3, 3, 4, 2,334. Just like how the length of each side of the base of the Great Pyramid of Giza is 230.34 meters, 2334. And remember, this connects to the 403 because I'll go all the way back. I get the 403 from here. So 612 is the 108th verse of Revelation, 811 is the 141st verse of Revelation, 911 is 154th verse of Revelation, and 108 plus 141 plus 154 equals 403. Corona and lime equals 403. So yeah, this is crazy, you know. And I barely know what to say, you know. Like, it was crazy. The last few videos I proved it was crazy enough, and now, like, you know, that whole like response, like with uncanny deduction, it just made the whole thing so much better, you know. So I'm like, I'm not even, no hard feelings about it. I'm not even angry about it or anything like that, because it added on to the whole thing. It made it even crazier. And I don't like, yeah, I think it was organic, you know. That's my opinion. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I have a lot more parts that are I do have more things to talk about with the corona and lime, and the lime aspect. I'm gonna dig a little bit deeper into that Genesis 2:7 verse, because I found some things about that. Yeah, I found some things about that. But yeah, I can vouch for uncanny deduction and say that he, like, his findings about lime and his connections to lime and like limestone are they're pretty valid. I just yeah, I mean, I just think he could have he took things the wrong way, because he felt like I was ignoring what he shared, and I wasn't, you know. I was just preparing this, and I had something to share before I did that. So but I know how it feels, you know. I've been in that position where I know I've shared some like pretty undeniable things, and then just doesn't really get the recognition I feel like it deserves. But yeah, by no means was I ignoring like the significance of that. Like, it's huge, you know. Like, how, like, this thing is insane. It's absolutely insane. And that is why I shared the videos on my community page. I didn't know that I didn't know that wouldn't be enough, but yeah, I mean, I wasn't planning this to like stop there anyways, you know. Like I said, I was working on this, and then when he responded with the very unacceptable video, it just like added on so much more to the craziness of this whole thing. So yeah, it was just meant to be. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. I know it's this was probably one of the most technical parts, or yeah, so far. I just don't really know how to make it like easier. Like, I'm trying. The only way I can is if I exclude a lot of information, and it's hard. Like, I it's hard for me to do that. So I don't know, I'm just rambling at this point, but thanks for watching. Take care, stay safe, and see you in the next one.